Alright, time for another review. This time Silent Hill 2 Remake for the PS5. Now, I am not, I would say, like, an ongoing survival horror type of person. Like, I do play a few games here and there, mostly Resident Evil, and I guess, like, to, change of tastes, like Dead Space. That's kind of like mostly of last year. And I think, like, you, me, we heard so much of how, like, this is like one of the best survival horror games ever made, right? And I didn't have like a PS. No, I had a PS2, but I don't have it now. Nor do I have a copy. So, and I already heard about this whole thing and everything. So imagine my surprise, like, hey, they're making a remake of this, and okay, let's be honest. The first trailer, yeah, didn't. A lot of the fans wasn't happy. And it looked okay, but like, bit by bit, they made improvements. It looks better. It caught my interest. It's getting, it's October, the spooky month, and I'm like, okay, it's looking good, looking good. But I was a little skeptical, just because this is Bloober Team, right? So they had a kind of like a shaky reputation, let's be honest. But then once I heard reviews like saying this is, pretty good, I decided to go and, actually try it out myself, right? Let's see if it actually lives up to the expectations, and well, it did. It definitely lived up to the expectations. And I would say I come out of this quite traumatized, honestly. Like, alright, I have never played a game that has scared me so much since the first Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 1, or the first Resident Evil 1 remake, right? That's like the first game that actually got me terrified. Alien Isolation got me extremely stressed. Right, and then Dead Space was great, but never really scared me that much. This, I felt dreadful, I felt stressed, I just felt unpleasant, disturbed, and there are moments where I wanted to absolutely take a break, where I just, like, pause the game, and I'm like, okay, I just wanna, let me just unwind a bit. I'm just, I'm at my limit now, and there's moments where I just decided to call it a night, because I was just too much. So, let's get into it, shall we? Where to start? So, what's this game about? So, this, we follow our main protagonist, Jake, no, what am I saying, Jake? James Sunderland, right? So, basically, he got a letter from his wife who died 3 years ago, telling him to come to a special place in Silent Hill. Now, Silent Hill is kind of like this odd town, right? That brings people to, brings people who have, like, dark paths and everything, right? Or they have, like, dark gods, and there's a lot of lore into this. And yeah, I don't fully understand. I'm just going out from what I learned before. So, yeah, we came to this town, and right at the bat, you can see that this is an abandoned town. The fog is absolutely thick. You cannot see that far. Right? And that's kind of makes it a little, worrisome. It's like, okay, abandoned? Okay, looks like it's been abandoned for a while. And it's quiet. Too quiet. And I can barely see. And that's the thing you're going to be dealing with this whole game. You're going to barely see anything. Whether it's fog or darkness. And my God, there's moments where, man, it can be incredibly dark. You just don't know what's behind those corners, and there will be something in those corners. Now, it'll catch you off guard, right? And there's as we progress the game, around the beginning, you'll get a radio. Now, the radio is the best friend and the worst friend, right? So, it's the best friend because it will let you know when enemies nearby. However, when you have it's on the PS5, right? So you're gonna have the static comes through the microphone or the mic sound, whatever, and it's kind of loud. But the thing is that it stresses you out it stresses me out because I'm like, okay, there's an enemy nearby. Where is this enemy? And you're just you're so highly alerted of where is this thing? Like when you hear and the louder it gets, the closer they are, and like, fuck, okay, get ready. You just don't know where they are. And the moment it hits you, it hits you. So I'm playing a replay of it right now without the radio on. because that's a trophy you can get. And I would say I do feel a lot calmer. Well, one, because I already have an idea where they are, but two, it's like I don't have that static blasting me in. So I'm like, I feel more stressed knowing there's an enemy nearby without instead of like having nothing indicating. I rap like that's insane, but it's so effective. We do have like ways to defend ourselves, right? The main one is melee, which we get like a wooden stick with nails, right? As melee, and you can do like a few hit combos, and you have the dodge, right? Right, and to effectively up your survival chances, you can dodge at the right time and do a bit of a counterattack. It's not gonna be like kind of like action horror kind of combat, right? This is kind of like the basics, right? But like the character we play as, he's not like an officer or military or anything like. He's just a regular guy who's trying to survive, right? So obviously, like when you use ranged weapons, there's gonna be sway. It's not gonna be like you could do like really anything too special. Just mostly the basics. But I understand why, because you're again just a regular guy. You really aren't expecting too much, right? And there's like multiple weapons. You got like wooden stick, you get an upgrade steel pipe, which is stronger, and you got range weapons, handgun, shotgun, and rifle, right? Which obviously gets better. However, limitation. It's like it gets better weaponry, but the ammo differs, right? But you also have healing items. You got a health drink and a syringe. Now, health drinks, they heal a good portion of it, but not too much. But those are the most common. However, syringes, they are the best healing item, but they're limited. But I will say, like I played on normal difficulty, but they are quite generous with the healing items. At least more towards the end of the game, where like maybe I'm really good at it or something. It's just like I've been stockpiling almost like 20 syringes, which now sounds pretty bad, but like yeah, I just have way too many health items. Like ammo, yeah, I'm kind of like boss fight. You end up running out. I just have mostly handgun, right? But like most of the time, I just have a lot of healing items. So I would say that kind of kills the I guess the urgency of survivability. Just because I'm like, okay, I know I have all of this, right? But like that's not enough to kind of deter it, because again, just environment wise, it's insanely effective for me. Like. Yeah, like we're gonna be going through the town, right? And then you're gonna be going through these areas. I like to think of them as dungeons, right? Like for example, like the first, I'm gonna say dungeon, right? Is like the apartments, right? And it's like these buildings are gonna be like corridors. They're claustrophobic. You have to go crawl through some spaces, check some doors, find some keys, and at the end of it, there's basically a boss. Not all of them, but like that's how I'm digging right now. It's like it's kind of like a dungeon, right? Keep in mind there are collectibles here and there, but like once you leave one area, you can't go back. Like except for one instance, but that's like only exception. So it's like if you want to find everything, like there's like photos or memos, and they're very interesting to read and also goddamn creepy. So yeah. There's maps, there's like glimpses of the past. I'm still trying to figure out that. And also, how you play also determines your ending. And I believe there's like 5 original, and then there's 3 new ones. I could be wrong. So, and like depending on what actions, like it literally depends how you play, like, what you do, what you interact, what you like pretty much, and when you do with a certain character, it's going to determine what ending you get. So, yeah. I'm not going to say too much just for spoiler-wise, and I'm definitely not going to go too deep on the story. But, yeah, trying to avoid. And look at that, we're already hitting the 10-minute mark. So, I think for the time being, we'll just make this the part 1. I'll definitely make the part 2 right now. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and you'll check out the next video for more of my thoughts. Alright, for the time being, thank you, and I'll see you around.